Hi guys, my name's Niko, and this is what I've been up to this week. So the two records that I've been listening to this week are Technology by Don Broco, which I've been looking forward to for a long time, and Milliontown by Frost, which I've been listening to for years now, and I just wanted to chat about it because I love it so much. So Technology is the third major label album from Don Broco, who are, I guess, a hard rock band from the UK. My sort of short summary of it is that it's a very, very heavy record, much heavier than their second one. And I was initially not that into it, and then I went and saw them live, and suddenly it made perfect sense. Like, this album has been designed to be played and enjoyed live, so if you go see them, you will have a great time. It's super high energy, gets people moving around. It's built for jumping and dancing to in the pit, and it works absolutely perfectly for that. I got into Don Broco just a bit after their second record, Automatic, came out, and it just grabbed me straight away. I loved it. Funny story. I actually got into Don Broco because I really, really like 1OK Rock, who are a Japanese rock band. And when 1OK Rock's new album, Ambitions, came out, someone posted something on some forum somewhere being like, oh, hey, this new 1OK Rock song, which is called Bon Voyage, sounds heaps like this song by this UK band, Don Broco, called You Wanna Know. And that's how I actually went and listened to it, and I liked it a lot. I listened to their other stuff, and I just got so into Automatic, the record. I've listened to it, beginning to end, probably like 50 times last year, and it's just one of those things where I feel like the whole album is structured in a way that just really, I like consuming it as a whole record. There's some really cool, funk influences in there, and a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally see in that kind of genre. And I felt like they had a really fresh take on it. They've got two singers, which helps, bring some variation as well. Now, the new record, which is called Technology, they started releasing singles for it a long time ago, and not only that, they actually released like half the record or something. It wasn't that much, but they released like 6 singles or something off the record. So by the time it came out, like the first 4 songs or something, I'd have 4 songs in a row. Like, I'd already heard all of them before. And it is a much heavier record, and I initially didn't find it as compelling from like a melodic and harmonic perspective. There weren't sort of like those big vocal melodic hooks and the really sort of driving rhythmic stuff that there was on Automatic. But then I went and saw them live a few months ago, and everything suddenly just clicked into place. It was... it made perfect sense. They played a bunch of stuff off Automatic first, and they even played Further, which is that song that I've done a cover of, that I love that song. And they played it live, and I was so into it because I didn't expect them to play it, but I realized looking around that, like, I can appreciate listening to them play it, but when they actually played it live, it sort of flattened out the energy of the gig a bit. Like, that at least I was up the front in the pit, and it's just a song where people sort of just stood there and listened to it. But then when they started playing songs off the new record, like Pretty, and they played Pretty actually like at the very, very end, and it just went absolutely off. Like, there was a wall of death in the pit. If you've never seen that, go just look it up on YouTube. So yeah, obviously they've designed this new record with going out on the road and playing it live in mind. They've obviously designed it so that they can have fun, and they hope they can bring some energy and have fun with the crowds that come to the live gigs. I do feel like This is not the kind of record that I'd be as likely to sit down and listen to as Automatic was, but it's just different. It's not better or worse in any particular way. I think my recommendation, my favorite song of Technology, probably has to be T-Shirt Song. Just because I really like the chorus in that one, and when I saw it live, it was just all the guys in the audience took off their T-shirts and started swinging them around, and it was ridiculous but fun. So the second record that I wanted to talk about is arguably my favorite album ever, and that's a pretty big call. But Frost is a progressive rock band from the UK, and initially Milliontown, which this album they put out, is their first record, and Joe, who's the bass player now in Colour, he put me onto them in the first place, referring me to the song Black Light Machine, and I listened to it, and the song's like 10 minutes or something like that. And it was just the most unbelievable thing that I've ever heard. It just completely blew me away in terms of expanding my idea of what it was possible to do with that kind of arrangement. The thing that I love the most about them is that they genuinely managed to fuse this idea of having a catchy, almost verging on like pop kind of territory melody or harmonic progression or, set of lyrics or vocals or a riff or that kind of thing. But they twist it and expand it and arrange it in a way that brings in all of this other stuff that you would never normally hear in that kind of music. Really interesting chord progressions that I've never heard used, interesting rhythmic and time signature ideas. It is a lot to digest. It's not the kind of thing that you listen to the first time and you're like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on with this. I cannot speak highly enough of this record. It's very cohesive, incredibly well arranged and produced. And given that Jem Godfrey, who is the singer and the keyboard player, or one of the singers and the keyboard player in Frost, basically did this whole record on his own. I mean, obviously he got other musicians to record the guitar and the drums and that kind of thing. He wrote all the songs and did all the production himself, I believe, on Milliontown. And it is, honestly, the album is just an absolute triumph. It cannot come more highly recommended. My favorite song is No Me, No You, which is, I feel, a perfect embodiment of what I was talking about before. There are some beautiful, like, catchy pop hooks in there, and then some bizarre, strange chordal and rhythmic movements and that kind of thing. But if you are short on time or you need something to give you an idea of whether you'll like the music or not, I would recommend listening to Black Light Machine. It's definitely a pretty pure embodiment of their sound on Milliontown. So you might remember if you watch my videos on a relatively regular basis, but I was talking about a new camera, and you can probably notice from the footage quality, but I managed to get one. So it's a little Panasonic Lumix sitting just there. I don't have to use the absolutely minuscule little camera on this old iPhone 5S, I believe it is, anymore. I'm also recording the audio for this video with my Shure SM81, which is sitting just there, slightly out of the shot, hopefully, or maybe it's sticking out the bottom, I don't know. So hopefully you'll be able to see a general bump in quality in both the audio and the visual of my videos. I did a cover just recently of the song Funny Little Creatures by Nothing More, and I filmed it with this camera and recorded the acoustic guitar with this microphone. So hopefully that sounds a little bit better. I had a bit of a fanboy moment because I actually tweeted the video at Nothing More, the band, on Twitter, and they responded and said, oh, it sounds good, we're hoping to come to Australia. So I'm super excited about that. I've been doing something interesting which I've been meaning to do for ages and I just haven't got around to, which is that whenever I come up with an idea for songwriting or a guitar riff or something like that, I generally record it in the voice memos on my phone. Some of you might do that kind of thing as well. And what ends up happening is that you end up, if you don't name them properly, which I do now, but I didn't before, you end up with this huge list of things just called voice memo 23, voice memo 461, that kind of thing. And I know that there's some good stuff in there, but I also know there's some stuff that I already ended up using, even as far back as on Even in Dreams. And so I've been slowly going through all of that stuff, like pulling out all these old ideas and just recording little bits and pieces in Logic. And I'm going to bring that stuff to the other two guys, Joe and Jasper in Now in Color. And we're hopefully going to go through some of that stuff and maybe work it into some of our new music. I've got band practice on the weekend, which I'm excited about. Hopefully we should be making some more moves towards, given that I've got my new guitar, towards developing our live sound and that kind of thing. We usually practice silently with headphones, and Jasper plays an electronic kit, so it would be really cool to go to a practice studio and actually turn up the volume and get the speakers moving a little bit and see what everything sounds like pretty loud. We're currently getting art done for our first single, Now in Color single, called Drift, which you might have seen me do an acoustic demo of already. That song is going to be out at the beginning of next month, so early March. And then hopefully we should have a full-length record following. I don't know why I keep doing this with my fingers. Just like, hey, full-length record. And we should hopefully have an album coming out at some point after that. I cannot even give an estimate of a date on that, but it's coming. Last piece of information, I pulled the trigger on my Aristides. I really got to ask them how to pronounce it. And you're just thinking, this guy buys a guitar, he can't even pronounce the name of the company. But anyway, I pulled the trigger on the specs that I want for that guitar. I put in my order, so 8 months from now in September, hopefully I'm going to be holding it in a video in front of me, doing a little demo, and you'll be able to see how awesome it sounds, and you won't be able to see how awesome it feels, but I'll hopefully communicate that to you. I'll just chuck a little picture up. It's very similar to the specs on this one that they posted on Instagram, but it's going to have Fishman Fluence pickups in there instead. I may have to get it rewired to do the voicing for the Fishmans later, because I have no idea what to even tell them, because I've not played around with the pickups before, and I think I need a bit of experience before I can start doing a bit of tweaking and customization on that kind of thing. Yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have had a good week. I'm trying at the moment to put out new videos on Tuesday and Thursday. I'll do one of these updates and a musical related thing, whether it's an original or a cover. Would vary week to week. I'm working on a song by 1OK Rock off their old album Beam of Light called Koubou. It's spelled Koubou. So if you want to go have a listen to that, I'm going to try and do a cover of that. Anyway, hope you guys have a good one. See you around.